I want to ask you a couple questions about what we was talking about the other night on the telephone towards your childhood raising. That you said that you was raised up after you was born down there on Beach Ridge.
Yeah.
You was raised up over in the Greenfield community.
Yeah.
That'd be north of Greenfield, right?
It'll be this side of Greenfield.
This side of Greenfield, pretty close to the railroad tracks.
No, it'll be closer to the river.
Closer to what river?
It's a river there.
There's a river.
Okay, here you go. Nice and clean.
Yeah.
It's a river there before you get to where I live.
Oh, you live down by Etheridge Levee?
Yeah.
You did. And you remember getting around on a horse and buggy?
Yeah. I went to school in a wagon.
You went to school in a wagon.
Yeah, I pulled the two
Where did you go to school at?
towards Greenfield.
Hey, Jimmy. Jimmy, turn that down for a minute, man. I'm recording this conversation pertaining to her childhood.
Out between.
Whenever you'd go to school all the way over at Greenfield?
No, it's almost Greenfield.
Almost to Greenfield.
Yeah.
Is it over in one of those white buildings that they've turned into a church?
No, it's the other side of there.
Other side of there. Okay. But you used to tell me tales about how that you used to hear about how that they would hang black people over there on the railroad track?
Railroad track.
Did you actually ever see anybody
No.
hanging? And then once you started dating, where'd you meet Tom at?
I met Tom.
At Greenfield?
No.
You done already moved over here to Kenton?
Yeah. We lived over on Lee Haskell's place.
In between here and Kenton?
Yeah. And I walked from where we lived to Macedon School. What did you check it out one time? 5 miles, Jimmy?
5 miles walking?
Yeah.
One way?
One way.
So you finished out your high school years over there in Macedonia school?
Yeah.
You did. So you moved to over in this area.
Yeah.
Was Dan Simmons' beer joint going then?
I think it was.
I thought Dan Simmons' beer joint opened up in the 60s.
I don't know. Uncle Will and Grady Harden made whiskey down on that river. And Aunt Effie and Maudie would take it in a gallon jug, glass jug, and take it down the river and tie it out on sticks. Keep the laws from finding it.
Ah.
Somebody come up and wanted a gallon, they'd go down there and get it.
Oh. So Grady Harden, that's what he was notorious for towards making moonshine.
Him and my uncle.
What was his name? Remember his name? Was it Tom something?
No. Will Talent.
Will who?
Will Talent.
Talent.
Yeah. Mom was half brother.
Your mom was half brother. Didn't you tell me that at one time there was a bunch of hangings down here in High Bend?
I don't know where there's any hangings, but I know a few got killed down there. Which my uncle's boy got killed down there
He did. They drowned him in a mud hole?
in a little bitty mud hole where they found him. There wasn't no way he could have drowned him.
Did they say he died of water fixation in his lungs?
No, I never did. I was too young.
Didn't you used to say that they used to have old dirt streets in Kenton?
Yeah.
And somebody used to shoe horses over there? Who was that?
No, That was over here at Rutherford.
Rutherford.
That was Tom's daddy.
Tom's daddy. He used to shoe horses
Yeah,
in Rutherford.
in Rutherford.
What was his name?
Thomas Roosevelt.
Thomas Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Where's he buried at?
He buried over here going to Kenner, going to Union City. At that church off the road.
Oh, over there at the old Primitive Baptist Church?
I guess that's where it's at.
Like going towards Reeves?
Yeah.
What is that, the old Hard Shell Baptist?
I don't know.
Ain't that what they used to call them, the Hard Shell?
I wasn't in it but one time. That's when he died.
Old wooden benches, wooden floor?
I don't even remember. It's been so long.
Don't even remember. But anyways, you met up with Tom over there in the Kenton area?
No, I met him coming through here to Macedonia, that road.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, he lived in Chicago and he was down here visiting his uncle.
And he never went back?
Oh,
He hooked up with y'all and y'all hooked up together. How long did you do any courting?
we didn't.
You didn't do no courting.
No,
Did you get married all of a sudden at once, or did you wait?
about a year after we met.
About a year after you met.
Yeah,
And then you started reproducing.
yeah.
And you went to reproducing and reproducing and reproducing. You wound up having 14 children and one of them was
Let me
stillborn.
see that. Not being Gary. Now go ahead, I'll go.
All right. Didn't you tell me, did you ever know about the story where a bunch of sheep drowned down there in Beech Ridge?
No.
Didn't you tell me that you was born down there in Beech Ridge in a house?
Yeah, but I don't know how long I lived there. But I was born in Beech Ridge. There used to be a lot of houses back there.
A lot of houses.
Yeah, yeah. Mr. Sweat lived back there.
Who?
Mr. Sweat.
Okay. Did the Cobles live down there?
Oh, Carl, Coble, Bobby Rudd.
Bobby Rudd?
Yeah. There's a bunch of them lived there. There's a bunch of houses down there. I guess that's just.
Was the Morgans live down there too?
I don't know.
You don't know if any Morgans? How about Stanley Berg? Did you ever know Stanley Berg?
Davises lived down
The Davises lived down there. Did you ever know Stanley Berg?
there. No.
You never knew Stanley? You talking about Clivis Davis. Clivis Davis. You remember that name?
No.
Clivis. Cleve Davis.
Oh, I forget this one name. One of my cousins married his boy.
And then you left from Beech Ridge and you went over towards Etheridge Levee. You stayed in Etheridge Levee until you were just a young girl. Then you moved from Etheridge Levee over towards Macedonia. And that's where you finished out your teenage years over there in the Macedonia area.
Yeah.
Now, I was told that Macedonia had a bunch of blacks over in that area one time.
No, I never seen no black.
Never seen no blacks. Didn't they have a school over there by the Macedonia church?
Yeah, right across the road.
Well, maybe I'm wrong about them living over there.
Had an outside toilet.
Huh?
Had an outside toilet.
Outside toilet. Well, most everybody had an outside toilet, didn't they?
Yeah.
Where'd you do most of your shopping at? There in Kenton?
There are shots.
Schatz's? You remember Mr. Schott?
Yeah, I remember on many shots.
He was a Jew, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Lived there in Kenton?
yeah.
Did you know Mr. Sanderson? Bill Sanderson?
Yeah,
So you knew the Sandersons?
yeah,
Did you know the Wades?
yeah. No,
Tommy Wade?
Tom Wade and all of them.
Did you know some of the other farmers that made a big living down there in that area?
Lee Pascal.
Yeah.
That's about the only one.
Lord, that's been a long, long time ago, hasn't it, May?
Long time ago.
Whenever you had your stillborn child, was that on the front end of your childbearing or on the back end of your childbearing?
On the back.
On the back end.
Yeah.
Was it one of your last ones that you had that was a stillborn?
I was about to. Let's see, after that I had 29 Terry. Steve.
And Tinker.
Yeah.
So it was probably the 9th or 10th child that wound up being stillborn. What'd y'all ever call Tinker for? Did he used to tinker around out here and beat and bang on pots and pans and stuff? How'd he get that
No.
name?
Tommy's wife, Tommy was up in Wisconsin and she come up her. She was underage, but anyhow, she got up in Wisconsin and married Tommy, underage. And Terry was a baby. And when he messed his pants, he stunk. And she named him Stinker. And when he went to going to school, they went to calling him Tinker.
Oh. He went from being Stinker to Tinker.
Yeah. He was.
You know, I seen him in Kenton not too long ago, about a week or so ago, and I asked him, I said, how in the world did you ever get that name Tinker? He said, I have no idea. So now I know something that he don't know about himself. Towards how he got the name Tinker. They come from the name Stinker because whenever he was just an infant, every time he would have poo-poo, it would stink. It would smell bad. And they called him Stinker.
She called him Stinker. She named him Stinker.
Stinker. But then whenever he started going to school,
he went by Tinker.
he went by Tinker. Now, how many years did he go to school up there in Chicago before y'all moved down here?
We didn't live in Chicago. Not with him.
Did Gary go to school up there in Chicago any?
No.
Who went to Chicago to school up there?
Nobody went to school up there. We didn't stay that long.
Oh, you didn't? Where did Albert go to school at? Reeves? Kennan?
And Sharon.
And Sharon? Dayton Earl. Did you ever know Mabel and Dayton Earl's dad's name? What was his? Hillary? Did you ever know Hillary?
Yeah, I know Hillary and his wife both.
Hillary liked to drink a lot, didn't he?
Well, I never did see him drink.
You didn't?
No,
Did you ever know Homer Thompson?
no.
Everybody called him Sonny. He lived down on the same road I live on.
No, I don't guess I did.
You never did know Sonny? Old Homer Thompson? Well, didn't you tell me that you had caught in wind as a child growing up that there had been a whole lot of hangings down in this area pertaining to black people?
Well, there wasn't no black people. I never seen no black people go by here till after Lehman Jacobs hired colored women to come and work in the garden. That was after we could move back here. That's the only time I ever seen any colored people down through here.
Really? Do you remember the old Lim store? That was halfway between Hopin and Sedonia, down there pretty close to where I live. There was a store on the Highway 89 right there.
No, I don't remember.
You don't remember that store right there?
No.
You remember my uncle, Leon Jackson?
Yeah.
Leon? Maxie? His son, Maxie?
Yeah.
Did you know my grandfather, Kelmer,
No.
married to Miss Aldell Jackson?
I knowed her, but I didn't know you.
You knew Miss Aldell?
Yeah.
You never know her husband?
No. I didn't get out much.
You didn't. That old house that y'all first moved off into that was basically right over there where Lehman Jacobs has a house at now. Didn't somebody get killed in that old house?
Which house?
There was an old house that it seemed like every time it get a lot of humidity in the air or get damp, blood would come up from the floor or come up out of the wood, out of the walls. You remember that old house that y'all used to live in? It was over there pretty close where Lehman built that new house.
Well, it was a house there.
There was a house there,
We lived in it.
and y'all lived in it.
I never did see nothing like it.
And somebody got killed in that old house, remember?
I don't know.
Did you ever know where the church used to be way over here? The church used to be over there next to that little cemetery. Back years and years ago. Before they built it over there where it is now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, they claimed that one of my kinfolks was mean and it come up a tornado and he was running from the church cussing God, calling God GD this and GD that, and lightning was striking in behind him until it finally got him before he ever got out of the way of the storm. He was mean. And I guess the tornado blowed that church all to pieces, and that's whenever they decided to move the church down on that other corner. I guess it was still probably called Alamo. Did you ever know of any of Davy Crockett's descendants
No.
that lived in this area?
No.
You never did know of David Crockett's mother or any of Davy Crockett's family down in the Rutherford, Tennessee area?
No.
I know you heard about Davy Crockett all your
I
life.
heard about it. You know, he's buried, it's supposed to be, well, they got his rock over at Rutherford, at that little house, before you get to the schoolhouse. But I know he ain't buried in it.
No, he got buried over there in Texas. That's where he got killed at. Was down there at the Alamo. You know, at one time this whole bottom used to be called Davy Crockett Bottom.
Terry, I'm talking to Terry.
You know, at one time this whole bottom used to be called Davy Crockett Bottom. Did you know that?
No.
David Crockett Bottom.
Yeah, did you know that?
No, I didn't know it.
Yeah.
I know it used to be Indians back in here.
Indians.
Cause Margaret Long used to go on back in yonder. And she said it was a mountain. I wish I'd have went with her.
Indian Mount? That's a,
Had a mountain hill.
yeah, Indian Mount's like a
Huh?
burial ground.
A burial ground.
No, it was just a,
Well, an Indian Mount is that's what it's called. A burial ground.
and she'd go and get them I ain't no telling how many them spur rocks she had
Where was that located at?
back in there.
Back in where?
Go
Back-
back to Macedonia and go straight back in there.
Macedonian.
Yeah, there is a mound back over there. Sure is. There's a big Indian mound back over there.
Yeah.
You go to Macedonian Church, and instead of turning left to go to Kenton, you
Go
turn
straight.
right to go to that mound that she's talking about.
Just go straight.
You go on down, and it goes straight, and
Wayne
it's,
Grant's place?
yeah, down there at the Grant place.
Well, Pascal used to live down there then.
Who?
Lee Pascal's boy.
Lee Pascal.
Yeah, Pascal was living down there at that time. Cause we lived over on this side before you got there. When we went to Wisconsin,
What year did y'all go to Wisconsin? Do you remember?
we went to 63 and come back to 73.
You went in 63 and come back in 73.
Yeah,
What part of Wisconsin did you go to?
Casanova, Wisconsin.
Where?
Casanova,
Azanovia.
yeah.
That sounds like an Indian name, don't it? Azanovia. What was the biggest city next to? Detroit?
No, Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. What was y'all about an hour away from Milwaukee?
About 3 hours away.
About 3 hours. So you was still on the northern part of Michigan then, right?
Yeah,
I bet y'all had some brutal winters up there, didn't you?
cold winter.
Cold winters.
Oh, the same thing, isn't it? Brutal cold.
Did you get a lot of snow off that lake?
We got snow, you'd raise the windows and get snow.
It get to the snow would get to the windows?
Get up to the window and we get us a bucket and get us some snow and make snow cream.
Snow cream, ice cream.
How many children did you have up there whenever you was up there?
Terry was a baby. They moved up there when Terry was a baby.
You had all your children up there, but then you brought them all down here to raise them.
Yeah.
But now wasn't one or two of them already going to school up there?
Yeah, they were going to school.
Which one was going to school?
Most of them.
Was he?
Gray,
She said Terry was a baby, so the others had been going to school.
Is the oldest one still living?
Yeah,
What's his name? Ray?
Tommy.
Tommy.
Sweat.
Is he the one that lives over here and behind you?
No, that's Ray.
That's Ray. Is Tommy the one that lives over by Reeves?
Yeah.
How old is Tommy now? If you're 93, soon to be 94, Tommy's got to be 70 something.
He's in his 70s.
High 70s, right?
Yeah.
75, 76?
All right.
Her telephone stays hot.
No, he just started.
She's important. She gets a lot of telephone calls.
No, it's for him.
Very.
Missouri.
So,
Who's calling from Missouri?
Jerry.
Who's Jerry?
Her son.
She's got a son that lives in Missouri?
His name is Jerry.
Well, where does he live?
Colbone.
That's
just sitting here, Jimmy Beard.
What?
Jimmy Beard read this morning. He got
He
my
called every
lap,
night at
coughed
8 o'clock,
twice,
7.
put him down there on the floor. I put him down there on the floor and a little bit got to sleep. He got down there with him. And he made 2 more big calls. He was gone. So Jimmy wrapped him up. I held him for a while. And Jimmy put him in the chair.
Nice and soft.
This
I
morning
just
he
watched
got up. He already had his hold up. He got up this morning and wrapped him in his blanket and put him in a plastic bag.
Jimmy, if anything ever happens to your wife, are you going to keep all these dogs?
Of course.
Are you?
And
I mean,
Yeah,
you going to keep your little dogs and your big dogs?
If I can.
in the shed.
Yeah.
We buried dog.
You animal friendly.
Billy
I
Jean
guess.
in there. Robert's dog in there. Now Red's in there.
Well, them dogs keep barking
No, I
for
didn't
outside.
know
Something out there?
If somebody
I
mess
didn't
around,
want Billy
they'll bark.
Jean outside.
You think so?
Ain't nothing back her in the bag.
Or you think they just don't like being cooped up?
They don't like that either. But 1 or 2 of them can get out. They want out. I bet there's 1 or 2 of them out there right now.
Y'all don't ever have nobody coming down here prowling around at night, do you?
Not yet. If they do, the dogs will get their ass.
Just said,
Well, they'll make enough racket to know something ain't right out there.
Have you ever had to get up late at night and go out there and see what was going on?
television.
Have you?
Yeah, I did one night. I can't believe I even did that. That's been long. I won't ever do it again. I don't know what I was thinking.
Don't ask me.
But I heard dogs raising all kinds of hell.
Yeah.
And that
Uh,
garage, maze garage door was wide open, right? 'Cause I left it open.
Right?
And I was just raising all kinds of hell. And I went out there in my underwear.
Right?
Went there and said, "Shut up, everybody! Just shut the hell up!" And I just took the door and closed it. There could have been somebody in there. I would have. Then after I got in the house, I thought,
They found him
"Well, that
dead.
was just stupid. What, somebody could have hit me in the damn head with something.
They think he was.
If somebody's been around that corner."
Uh-huh.
They're gonna cut him off.
And I tell the dogs, "Shut up! Get out of the damn way!"
Uh-huh.
They're going.
What's this right here? Fox News Alert? What's going
I was
on
gonna
there?
let you see that in a minute when you get through doing what you're doing. over
Okay,
there.
I'm through here. Let me turn
Still
it off.
recording now.
Yeah, I'll turn it off.